It's the chilling unsolved case of the Burger Chef murders of 1978, a daunting mystery that has haunted the community of Speedway, Indiana for nearly 50 years. A case which has left a permanent dark cloud over the town, leaving investigators perplexed knowing the victims may never receive justice. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you for joining me in this episode of What Happened. It was the evening of November 17, 1978, when the lives of 4 Burger Chef employees were tragically cut short, leaving behind a tale of unanswered questions and perpetrators who continue to elude police and justice. It was around midnight when fellow employee Brian Crane, who was out driving, decided to stop by the restaurant to see his friends. As he entered the restaurant, he encountered an eerie scene. Though the restaurant closed at 11 p.m., the doors were unlocked and the lights were still on. It appeared to have been deserted, with the safe open and the back door ajar. After calling out to the employees with no response, he decided to call the Speedway police. At the time, the police were unconcerned and believed the disappearance was the result of theft. However, when the employees failed to show up at home or work, the families and police became concerned. It wasn't until Jane Freet's car, a 1974 Chevy Vega, was located in the middle of town the next morning that police decided something more ominous had taken place at the Burger Chef. 2 days later, on Sunday afternoon, hikers found the bodies of all 4 employees in a wooded area over 20 miles from the restaurant. They had been brutally attacked. All 4 victims were still wearing their Burger Chef uniforms. Money and watches were found on the dead victims, implying that robbery may not have been the sole motive for the murders. 4 victims, 20-year-old Jane Freet, 16-year-old Daniel Davis and Mark Flemings, and 17-year-old Ruth Ellen Shelton, were the only employees working the closing shift on that fateful night. Jane Freet, who was born on May 5, 1958, was the assistant manager. She had recently transferred to that location after working 3 years at another Burger Chef restaurant. She was an extremely hard worker and loyal employee who took her job seriously. She was stabbed to death, and the 4.5-inch blade had snapped and later found still lodged in her chest during an autopsy. 16-year-old Daniel Davis, known by friends and family as Danny, was born on September 6, 1962. He had just started the job as a cook at the Speedway Burger Chef location and had not even received his first paycheck. He was a sophomore at Decatur Central High School and a member of the Latin Club. He enjoyed photography and wanted to join the Air Force after high school. He was quiet but friendly and had a small circle of friends. Danny was found shot to death. Mark Flemings was born on December 31st, 1961, and described as funny and friendly. At the time of his death, he attended Speedway, Indiana High School and was a member of his high school band. He and his family were one of a few African American families living in the area. His parents were Jehovah's Witnesses, and according to a friend living in the same apartment complex, Mark and his siblings rarely ventured outside the Big Eagle apartments in their free time. He was not allowed to attend the popular dance club for teenagers known as the Galaxy, which was located across the street from Burger Chef. On the night of his abduction, he planned to walk home after his shift with a friend, Kirk Thompson, who was at the Galaxy that night. After leaving the Galaxy around midnight, Thompson walked across the street to the Burger Chef to meet Mark. It was reported that Mark was not originally scheduled to work that night, but agreed to fill in for a fellow employee. When Thompson arrived at Burger Chef, he noticed there were still cars in the parking lot and the back door was open, but he didn't see or hear anyone, so he decided to walk home alone. Mark Flemings died as a result of blunt force trauma and asphyxiation. 17-year-old Ruth Ellen Shelton was born on December 19, 1960, and was an honor roll student who had dreams of becoming a computer scientist. She was attending what is now the University of Indianapolis to earn some early college credits. She enjoyed music and was a member of the West Side Church of Nazarene Choir Group. At the restaurant, police found 2 empty currency bags and an empty roll of adhesive tape next to the open safe. At the time, the restaurant was not properly processed as a crime scene, which would later play a detrimental role in the investigation. It had been cleared by police to operate as normal. No fingerprints nor photographs were taken, and the crime scene became compromised when employees were allowed back the next day to resume business. On the night of the murders, 16-year-old eyewitness saw 2 suspicious men in a car outside the Burger Chef just before closing. Both men were white and in their 30s. Despite an extensive investigation, including the collection of evidence and interviews, no arrests have been made to date. Though police have had several leads over the years, including a confession from an inmate who later recanted, no solid evidence has been uncovered. The Burger Chef murders left an indelible mark on the town of Speedway and have become a significant part of local folklore. The community was left in shock and fear, questioning how such a heinous crime could occur in their community. Despite numerous leads and theories over the years, the case remains unsolved. Though the community is still hopeful for closure and justice, the Burger Chef murders serves as a somber reminder of how truly precious life is. In the spirit of remembrance, both a documentary and movie about the Burger Chef murders have been made in recent years. As the story of Jane, Daniel, Mark, and Ruth Ellen continues to be shared, it is hopeful that one day the mystery will be solved and justice will finally prevail. In December 2023, officials, along with the current owner who purchased the property in 2019, decided to tear down the restaurant. It had been home to several businesses over the years. On Thursday, March 21st, 2024, the Burger Chef restaurant in Speedway, Indiana, was finally demolished. The tragedy of what took place almost 50 years ago no longer stands as a grim reminder of the horror that happened on the evening of November 17, 1978. Thank you for tuning in and watching this episode of What Happened. Please like, comment, and share. For more stories and mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can always be the first to know.